Welcome back, everyone. This is Trending Update USA, and I am Steffan, and today we bring you a powerful, emotional, and inspiring tennis story that is capturing attention across the global sports world as Coco Gauff reacts with admiration and respect while Alexandra Eala can't hide her happiness after achieving historic glory at the SEA Games. A moment that represents not only personal triumph, but also a defining chapter for Southeast Asian tennis, and as the tennis community watches closely. This story has quickly grown beyond medals and rankings to become a celebration of pride, perseverance, and rising global influence in the sport. Alexandra Eala's joy was impossible to miss as she stood with her medal, her smile speaking louder than words, representing years of sacrifice, dedication, and belief that a young girl from the Philippines could one day shine on an international stage. And the SEA Games gold medal was more than just a victory, it was validation of her journey through academies, junior circuits, and moments of doubt that now feel distant under the bright lights of success. And as footage of her emotional reactions spread across social media, one of the most notable responses came from American tennis star Coco Gauff, who acknowledged Eala's achievement with genuine respect, reinforcing the sense that women's tennis is entering a new era shaped by global diversity and emerging stars. Coco Gauff, known not only for her Grand Slam achievements but also for her maturity and awareness of the sport's broader landscape, reacted positively to Eala's SEA Games triumph, emphasizing how important regional competitions are for developing confidence and national pride. And while Gauff continues to compete at the highest level of the WTA Tour, her reaction showed an understanding that every champion starts somewhere, and victories like this can be life-changing for young athletes, representing countries still carving out space in elite tennis conversations. For Alexandra Eala, the SEA Games have always carried emotional weight, as the event represents unity, cultural pride, and regional excellence, and winning gold in front of passionate supporters reaffirmed her connection to her roots. And in her post-match reactions, she couldn't hide her happiness, her voice trembling with emotion as she spoke about representing her country, honoring her family, and inspiring the next generation of Filipino athletes who are watching her journey closely, believing that dreams once considered distant are now within reach. Coco Gauff's response resonated because it came from someone who understands pressure at a young age, having burst onto the global scene as a teenager herself, and Gauff's message reflected empathy, noting how milestones like this shape confidence and identity. And she highlighted how Eala's success should be celebrated not just as a regional win but as part of the broader evolution of women's tennis, where talent is rising from every corner of the world. The tennis world has long been dominated by traditional powerhouses, but Alexandra Eala's SEA Games success serves as a reminder that the sport's future is expanding, and her happiness wasn't performative, it was raw and genuine, reflecting years of hard work behind the scenes, and her body language, laughter, and tears all told the same story. This was a moment she had dreamed about. A moment that validated her path and strengthened her belief that she belongs on bigger stages. As Coco Gauff continues her own journey at the top of the game, balancing expectations, endorsements, and competitive pressure, her recognition of Eala's achievement sends an important message about solidarity among players, and rather than viewing rising stars as rivals, Gauff's reaction emphasized encouragement and shared respect, reinforcing the idea that tennis is not only about competition but also about community and shared growth. Alexandra Eala's SEA Games gold also sparked conversations across Southeast Asia about investment in tennis development, youth programs, and international exposure, and many analysts believe this victory could accelerate support for young athletes in the region, creating pathways that were previously limited. And Eala's happiness symbolized hope, not just for herself but for countless young players training on modest courts with big dreams. Coco Gauff's reaction further amplified the story, bringing global attention to a regional triumph, and when a Grand Slam champion acknowledges a SEA Games victory, it elevates the narrative, bridging different levels of the sport and reminding fans that greatness is built step by step, match by match, moment by moment. And this interaction between established and emerging stars highlights the evolving culture of women's tennis, one rooted in mutual respect rather than isolation. The emotional contrast between Gauff's composed reflection and Eala's visible joy created a compelling storyline, and fans around the world responded warmly, praising both athletes for their authenticity, and social media quickly filled with messages celebrating Eala's pride and Gauff's supportive words, reinforcing the idea that women's tennis thrives when success is shared rather than overshadowed. For Alexandra Eala, this SEA Games moment could become a turning point, not just in terms of confidence but also visibility, and with international attention growing, opportunities on the WTA Tour may expand, and her happiness reflected awareness that this victory is both an ending and a beginning, closing one chapter while opening doors to new challenges and ambitions. Coco Gauff's career trajectory serves as a blueprint for young players like Eala, showing how early breakthroughs can lead to sustained success with the right mindset and support. And Gauff's acknowledgement of Eala's achievement carried weight because it came from someone who has navigated the transition from prodigy to professional under intense scrutiny, and her reaction suggested belief in Eala's potential beyond regional success. As the tennis calendar continues to evolve, moments like these remind fans why the sport resonates emotionally, because behind rankings and trophies are human stories of perseverance, joy, and national pride, and Alexandra Eala's inability to hide her happiness was not a weakness, it was a strength, showing vulnerability and authenticity in a sport that often demands composure above all else. Coco Gauff's response also highlighted the importance of representation, and seeing a Southeast Asian athlete celebrated on a global platform sends a powerful message about inclusion and opportunity. And Gauff's words reinforce the idea that tennis belongs to everyone, regardless of geography, background, or resources. The SEA Games victory may not carry the same ranking points as a WTA title, but its emotional significance cannot be measured numerically, and for Eala, it represented belonging, validation, and pride, and her happiness resonated because it was shared by millions who saw themselves reflected in her journey. As Trending Update USA continues to follow stories that shape the future of sports, this moment stands out as a reminder that greatness often begins with joy, belief, and the courage to dream, and as Coco Gauff continues to lead by example on the global stage, her reaction to Alexandra Eala's SEA Games glory shows that true champions uplift others, recognizing that the sport grows stronger when success is celebrated collectively. Alexandra Eala's smile, Coco Gauff's respect, and the global response together created a powerful narrative that transcends tennis, touching on themes of perseverance, unity, and hope. And as fans look ahead to future tournaments, many will remember this moment as one where happiness and humility met, reminding us all why we love the game. And as we wrap up today's story, one thing is clear: Alexandra Eala's SEA Games triumph is not just a medal, it's a message, and Coco Gauff's reaction confirms that the tennis world is watching, listening, and ready to welcome the next generation of stars with open arms. And this is only the beginning of a journey that promises even greater moments ahead.